Hello and welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad you're here. Today we are talking about the final installment of the Sister Wives Season 17 one-on-ones. So I just want to let you guys know I felt like this one was better than the first two, and I know I'm not going to be able to cover everything that was talked about during this one-on-one. So if you feel like I missed something and you want to talk about it more, go ahead and leave a comment about it. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. We start off right where we left off. Suki is still trying to get Cody to talk about Robin. And if you remember, at the end of the last one-on-one, he was acting kind of weird. He was sort of getting fidgety and looking at his watch, and he said he wasn't going to talk about her. But Suki ends up getting Cody to agree to watch some clips of the other wives talking about Robin and Cody's relationship. So he agrees to do it, and they end up showing the other wives the clips as well. So we see the one where Christine talks about how there is a favorite wife, and how she is being accused of not treating the favorite wife well. And they also show some clips of Janelle talking about how her relationship with Cody doesn't look like the relationship Robin has with Cody. Of course, the whole time they are showing these clips, Cody is shaking his head and just acting really bizarre. Robin is also watching it and blinking her eyes so much. It's like she's trying to fly away with her lashes, and Mary starts doing this really weird face. It's the face she did during season 2. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a pic of this. I don't know why she does this. Like, do you think she's like disagreeing with what's being said and then she makes this face? What is this face? She does this when she's upset or disagreeing or not liking what I don't know why she does this face, but she does it and I notice it. So that is going on while Christine and Janelle are talking about Robin and Cody's relationship. Cody responds by saying that the one thing he realized in Vegas is that Christine is only happy when she is getting more than everybody else. My issue with this is, when does that happen? When does Christine get more than anybody else? When is that going on? Because when you watch this show, it seems like Robin always gets more than everybody else. And then that's about it. That sums the whole thing up. So when does Christine feel like she gets more? Then it's like Suki finally wakes up and just brings it. She starts asking the questions and starts pushing Cody a little bit more, like the things we want her to do. But of course, he stops her. He stops Suki from, asking more and pushing more with her questions. And he basically says that Christine, she was the problem and she needed to be more loving. Cody also gets really caught up on the word favorite. He seems offended by the idea of having a favorite wife, but it's okay with saying he favors her or that she came into favor. To me, it doesn't matter what Cody says. I know what he's doing. He's being manipulative and he thinks he's getting away with something by twisting the words around. But you know what, Cody? I'm not falling for it. Neither are the viewers, and neither is Janelle and Christine, and hopefully not Mary. You twist words around to make yourself look good, or at least that's what you think, but we've all caught on to it now. It doesn't matter if you say favor or favorites. You had one wife you preferred, we all know it, and you treated everyone else poorly. That's how it is. So it doesn't matter what words are said. We know what you're doing. Suki keeps asking him more, and she asks him if he has a favorite wife. Cody responds by saying that Robin is the one who put in the work and made the sacrifices, and if Christine wanted it, she needed to do the same. According to Cody, Mary, Janelle, and Christine have trash-talked him for years, and Robin is the only one willing to stick up for him, so she is showing loyalty. So that's why she comes into favor. They end up showing Christine and she says that Janelle doesn't deserve this. Janelle does not deserve to be accused of not being loyal because Janelle has been incredibly loyal for years, even when Christine, was pointing out that there were things that, weren't fair in these relationships. We move on to Suki and Janelle talking. Janelle definitely finds some of this conversation funny.
Loyal, kiss the ring, and then we'll be good.
We move on to Mary, and Suki talks to Mary about Robin. Suki asks her if Robin is the favorite. Mary says that Cody is just more comfortable with Robin right now, but that it's a thing that changes. He has been comfortable with different wives at different times. She also says he really values loyalty. I think to her, this justifies why Cody treats her the way that he does. But my thing is, it doesn't work for me. It seems that he is stringing her along for ego and money. She might have cheated when she talked to the catfish, but I don't think Cody's any better at this point. He should have ended the relationship with her if he couldn't get past that. Stringing her along just for his own ego and to make sure he has some extra financial support, nah, I'm not about that. I think that makes him just as bad as her. They go back to Christine, and I really, really liked how Christine explained things at this part of this episode. I appreciated her honesty. She said Cody and Robin were soulmates, and when Suki asked her if that made her jealous, she said yes. I felt so proud of her. Do you guys remember when the show first started and all the wives seemed to apologize every time they had an emotion that wasn't just straight up happiness? They always seemed to be trying to suppress how they felt. So I liked seeing her come this far. She said she didn't realize a relationship could be more than what she had with Cody until she saw him be everything to Robin. And I felt like that explained what happened perfectly. And I liked that she was willing to say she was jealous. And, you know, she was ready to move on and she wanted that for herself. I just enjoyed what Christine said here. She's came a long way. But you guys, Robin is next. And it's like someone flipped her switch from off to on, and she is finally going to start talking the way we all expect Robin to talk. She said Christine and Janelle made choices to make all of this happen, and that they basically handed him to her by making it where he couldn't go over to their homes. So it feels like, to me, she's talking about post-COVID. You know, they weren't following the COVID rules, so according to her, Cody just couldn't go over there. But Suki points out that Christine has felt like this from the beginning, from when Robin entered the family. And Robin responds by saying that Christine and Cody used to be really cute together, and they had fun banter. But that was something Christine just didn't take care of. She didn't take care of her relationship with Cody. So what about Cody? Doesn't Cody need to take care of things as well? Robin just, I don't know, Robin didn't do herself any favors during this episode. She brings up the other wives rejecting affection and nagging him, and I don't know who she's talking about when it comes to rejection, but it couldn't have been Christine. We all know that it was a huge issue for Christine that there was an affection between her and Cody. Then Robin says this.
There's stretch marks and there's weight gain and there's like stagnant, you know, you're being stagnant in the marriage, or there's fights or there's money problems or whatever it is. He still had this romance.
She really starts to let us know how she feels. I don't think it was intentional, but it definitely came off a little bit judgmental. We move from Robin to Janelle, where Suki talks about the holidays. They end up showing the footage where Cody talked to Mary, Janelle, and Robin at Robin's house. They were all sitting like around a fire pit, and they were talking about getting together for the holidays. It's the one where Cody blows up and Janelle starts to walk away, and Robin tells her to sit back down. There won't be any more yelling. That one, they show that to Janelle, and I think all of the wives and Cody watch it. It's easy to see that Janelle thinks it all is ridiculous, particularly the scene where Robin says that Cody has been rejected, you know, a lot this past year. I don't know if you guys remember that. I had forgotten about it. It was where they're sitting around the fire pit and Robin's really trying to get him to calm down, and she's going, you know, you've had a lot of rejection and a lot of pain. Yeah, Janelle actually laughs while she's sitting there with Suki and points out that Cody isn't the only one that feels rejection. And she talks about how her kids feel. And Janelle's right. Robin's just talking specifically about Cody. What about how everyone else was hurting during that time? So I appreciated that Janelle pointed it out. Like Robin does this, but it's not real life. It's not how we should address things. Everyone was hurting. We end up moving on to Cody. And this is where, you guys, he turns into COVID crazy Cody, where he just justifies everything he did by saying that he was afraid one of his little kids would end up dying from Cody. So I'm editing this and just realized I said he was worried they would end up dying from Cody. I meant COVID. Sorry, guys. And that he wouldn't be able to forgive his older kids if they were the ones that brought it home. So he kind of starts to go in that direction. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I felt like there was times where Cody would start talking about COVID and he would just like start to turn into this other person. It was like you slowly watched him go into this like kind of crazed, intense person when he talked about COVID. And it just, I don't know, we were headed there, but he stopped, guys. He ends up saying that he's now estranged from Janelle's boys, and he apologizes.
Yeah, boys, I'm sorry. I was trying to protect my family. Next time, I'd manage it differently.
We move on to Suki talking to Cody about Janelle. They show the scene at the restaurant where Janelle and Cody talk about their relationship. Cody says that after having the divorce with Christine, he really wanted to work on the relationship with Janelle. I'm not going to try to tell you guys everything he said because he said a lot. Just think of the things you already know that he likes to say. Think about the things that Cody Brown likes to say during every episode, and then just say them like in your head. And I feel like you know what happened during this scene. It was sort of like this. I want respect. I got disrespect, but I just want respect. I can't live people who don't respect me. Respect, disrespect, respect. It was just so much of that word during this episode. And we end up moving on to Janelle, and the word just continues. They keep saying respect so often. And you guys, I think you have to respect your partner. Your partner has to respect you in a relationship. But we get, in the Sister Wives episodes, we get really fixated on a word. And then it seems to be in the show way more than necessary. So it just keeps going with Janelle. Suki's like, did you disrespect Cody? And then it's like, you know, Janelle talks about how there has to be respect both ways and how she feels disrespect. It was a lot. But Janelle says that she did respect Cody for a long time, but she says she's losing respect because of how he treats the kids, which is fair. I think how he treated the kids during this last season had a huge influence on me as a viewer and how I felt about him. And I think that's true for most people. When these comments come into my channel or I read comments on other channels or on Facebook, people have a lot to say about Cody and the way he treats his kids. The best part of this to me is that Janelle points out what so many of us have been thinking. If Cody was looking out for everyone, if he was looking out for the whole family, he would have found a way to make those COVID rules work for everyone instead of keeping the rules and just staying over at Robin's house. 100%, I agree with that. If he was worried about his whole family, he should have worried about every single one of them. But it seemed to be he made those rules for everyone at Robin's house, and so that's where he went and stayed. It's during this part of the show where Janelle says that she's separated from Cody. She also says that she's happy. And it's during this part where there's a scene with Cody where he says that they're separated and Janelle seems happy. And you guys, I'm like so happy that he knows that. Like, I'm happy that Janelle's happy, and I'm happy that Cody knows she's happy, because he needs to realize there's life beyond him. His ego needs to know he is not the center of the world. He is not everything. He's not the sun. It's not all revolving around him. He needs to know that. So I'm glad he knows that she's happy. Suki does ask if he would want to work on the relationship with Janelle, and then he says this.
Do you want to work on it? Do you want to try and fix it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, but I won't go to a place where I'm not respected, because love doesn't matter to me. Respect matters to me.
Suki ends up talking to Cody about the possibility of reconciling with Janelle's boys, and then maybe reconciling with Janelle after that. And Cody says it's possible, but as he goes on further, he says that Robin was able to get her kids to comply to all of his COVID rules, and that if he reconciled with Janelle, there would end up being this comparison in the relationships. So I take issue with this because I believe Janelle is raising independent kids. You know, the boys were employed, they were dating, they had social lives, they were independent. And, you know, they're young, but they're gaining that independence. I don't feel that way about Robin's kids. I don't get the vibe that they were planning on moving out anytime soon before COVID, or that they were attempting to go out and save money for a house. Like, they just weren't at that place yet. So I don't think it was that hard to get them to stay at home. I'm also going to be, you know, this is an assumption, I could be wrong, so I want to be honest. I'm assuming that Cody and Robin were financially supporting Brianna, Aurora, and Dayton. But I don't think Cody would have been okay with financially supporting Janelle's sons, because he has double standards. So it doesn't, to me, it's just like comparing apples and oranges. You can't do it. He was not going to treat them the same. He wasn't going to help them. If he had said stay home, I think he would have then talked bad about them not having jobs. So there was like no winning with them. To me, there were double standards and it was never going to work no matter what he says. We move on to Janelle and talking about the issue of building at Coyote Pass. And this is where I feel like the show sort of picked up a little bit, just in my opinion. I'm definitely going to miss some things because there's no way I'm going to cover everything. So if you feel like there was something from this part that I didn't put in here, go ahead and leave a comment. But otherwise, I'm going to start with this clip of Janelle talking about her housing situation.
If I was prioritized, we would have figured out how to pay off the land and I would be in a house. Instead of this, oh my gosh, we don't have the budget, I don't know. None of that was ever discussed when it was time for Robin to find a house.
Janelle points out that family money was spent on Christine's house and that they depleted accounts for Robin's house. But Cody just keeps using excuses about the budget to justify not helping her build on Coyote Pass. And she says she was not prioritized. And I'm just so happy she used those words because she's right. He did not make her important. She wasn't as important as Robin was. So he wasn't willing to deplete those accounts for her. So I was happy to hear her say that. You know, she wasn't upset or emotional. She was just very honest about what happened. And I think she was right. We end up moving on to Robin. She's crying, of course, and talking about how much better she handles her relationships than the other wives do or did. And she says she treats Cody like her best customer. So there's that. If you're in a relationship that's not working out very well right now, treat your partner like the best customer you have. So she ends up saying she won't apologize anymore. She is tired of feeling bad for having a good relationship. My thing is, I don't think she should have to apologize all the time to other people. But I think if you're in a polygamous relationship and your relationship is going really well with your husband and everyone else's is going really bad and he's not going over there very often, you might want to, start to reflect on what's happening and maybe acknowledge the fact that because your relationship is good, your partner isn't putting effort into the other relationships. She never does that. She just talks about how the women needed to work on it. Cody needed to work on it too, Robin, and because he's over at your house all the time, worried about you all the time, making you a priority, he's not making the other wives a priority. It's not all on them, but she just, she doesn't talk about that. She doesn't get it. We move back to Janelle. And she seems really happy. We do find out that Cody blew off their last anniversary. And remember, they had that fight right before Christmas? It sounds like he didn't call them at all. He completely did not talk to her. And I'm guessing he didn't call the kids either. I don't know. It's crazy. Janelle talks about how her faith requires that she should work on her marriage. But she's actually happy now that she's separated from Cody and really doesn't seem to want to work on it. She says the door is still open to their relationship because of her faith, but she doesn't want anyone to walk through that door. So I thought that was funny. You know what? I think Janelle is happy where she's at. From there, we skip on over to Christine, where she's talking about how she doesn't feel like Cody has the capacity for plural marriage. And you know what? I felt the same way. I think it was easier for him in the beginning, but I don't think long term he was cut out for all of this. And I have to be honest with you guys, I question how well it works for all people. When it comes to polygamy, it's not just an issue I have with Cody Brown. How often does it really work well? So I think there's a bigger issue there. It's not just Cody, but I do think in the long term, Cody wasn't going to be able to maintain the relationships he had in the beginning with those women. So this issue comes up. Robin said she wanted polygamy. Cody is a polygamist. Should they go look for another wife? Christine ends up making a really good point. If Cody and Robin are truly soulmates, how would there ever really be room for another wife? Suki asked Robin if she would want to find another wife, and she says she would. Do you guys believe her, though? I do not believe Robin would take having a new wife in the family very well. I don't think that would go over well with Robin at all, but according to Robin, she would be down for having a new wife in the family. She mentions that not being a polygamist is messing with her identity. Now, I believe that. I actually believe that for everyone in this family, as far as the adults go, not the children. Their identity is based on the fact that they're polygamous. That is who they are to the whole world. So changing that's a huge change for them. So I think Robin was being honest there. This is messing with her identity. I also think it's messing with Cody's. The show ends with Cody saying that he hopes Christine finds her soulmate. I don't know if he was being nice when he said it. It felt like there was a little edge to it, but that's what he said. And he ends up saying he hopes in the future he's in a beautiful place with Janelle and that he's able to reconcile with his kids. There's actually no mention of Mary at the end. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions about that. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. I mean, most of this episode was focused on Janelle, so maybe that's just where the conversation was going. So, that is the end. That is all for this tell-all. I did think this was a lot better. I felt like there was more depth, better questions. Maybe not everything we wanted, but it was better. Suki asked a lot about Janelle's housing, which we all wanted to hear. I don't know, I thought it was the best of the three. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you haven't already, click like and subscribe. And if you need to work on your relationship, remember to treat your partner like your best customer. I'll see you guys next time.